All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Crew Show with a little 49er video as we recap everything that happened in 49er land on this Wednesday, December the 3rd. And of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, two locations, Emeryville and Corte Madera, a third on the way in Petaluma. Join us in Corte Madera for the Krug Show meet and greet on Sunday, December 7th. We will be there watching football, eating barbecue, and hanging out. So stop by, say hello, and thanks to everybody for stopping by on December the 7th. And of course, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. All right, let's talk about all the different things that happened in 49er land on this Wednesday, December 3rd. Now, number of interesting stories today. Matt Barrows had some interesting notes suggesting in one of his mailbags that the Niners and Kyle Shanahan might be interested in Falcons free agent to be tight end Kyle Pitts as someone who could step into the big slot role should Jawan Jennings move on in free agency. And Barrows writes that, Shanahan had a similar player in Jordan Reed with the Niners and in Washington, and he could see Pitts as a good fit for that role. And I agree. I think Pitts would be a fantastic addition to the 49er weaponry. That's something to look for in the offseason. There's been a lot of people talking up Alfred Collins, and Matt points out that Alfred Collins, as good as he's been, he still has no sacks and it's just 4 quarterback hits this season. Mikael Williams, by the way, had 1 sack and 3 quarterback hits in 9 games. So out of their first and second round pick, they're not getting a lot of sack production from Williams or from Collins. So that was something that Matt pointed out, and he's right about it. He's absolutely right about it. And yet Collins is still, I think, on pace to be a very good player, and I think Williams will be a very good player as well. But sack production hasn't been there for either. Can the Niners rush the passer? And we're going to find out. Shedeur Sanders' average time to throw in the Browns game was 3.52 seconds, which is very high. Only one other opponent, Matthew Stafford in Week 10, has been above the 3-second mark since Bosa's Week 3 injury. So holding the ball, that's one thing that can break a defense down is if you let the opposing quarterback hold on to the football. We should tell you that these 49er practice reports this season are brought to you by our friends at Plank, the 50,000 square foot entertainment eatery in Jack London Square in Oakland. Plank just opened the Hub, a brand new sports viewing space with a massive 30-foot media wall, over 70 TVs. It's a great spot. You can enjoy incredible food, specialty cocktails. They've got a huge 15,000 square foot outdoor beer garden. They've got about 30 different beers on tap. You can bring the kids. There's 12 lanes of bowling. There's bocce. There's arcade games. A good time can be had by all. And right now, if you just say that you know me and listen to the Krug Show, you're going to get 15% off bowling, games, food, and non-alcoholic beverages through the end of the year. Just say that Krug sent you. Simple as that, and they will take care of you at Plank. And once again, Plank Oakland, really a cool spot. Go check them out on the web, plankoakland.com. It's a great place to visit. You can do your holiday party there for friends, family, maybe your team at work. plankoakland.com. That is plankoakland.com. And thanks to Plank for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Well, one of the other notes today, Matt Barrows is asking the question, could Fred Warner return for the playoffs? And Matt gauged it this way. As far as percentage that he could come back. Wild card round, he said 16% chance. Divisional round, he's saying 44% chance. Championship round, he's saying 78% chance. Super Bowl, he says just try and stop him percent. It's interesting. Shanahan was asked about this, and it's the timeline. As far as the timeline, they're saying that the timeline was like 16 weeks for normal athletes with Warner's injury. But there's all kinds of variables. Warner broke the ankle October the 12th, so the wild card round will be 13 weeks since the injury. Personally, I don't care what these stats say. I don't think Fred Warner's coming back this year at all, whether it's in the wild card round, the divisional round, or the championship round. Yes, maybe it's 13 weeks at the divisional round, but that's 13 weeks. Now he can start playing again, practicing again. But you're not going to practice again to the divisional round. Um, I would say no chance. No chance. If he surprises you and shows up later, be pleasantly surprised, but I wouldn't bank on it. I wouldn't expect it. I wouldn't look at timelines that thought about it. I would not put any thought into Fred Warner coming back because I think the chances are remote at best. And it's probably not even in his best interest to do it. Are we going to see Jacob Cowing? I get that question a lot. And Matt Barrows said he spoke with Cowing about 3 weeks ago and said he was as close to full speed health-wise at that point. The problem is there's no room for him on the roster at the moment. The 49ers are already making Jordan Watkins a healthy scratch on game days. So the risk of opening Cowing's window coming out of the bye would be that they'd have to activate him within 21 days or put him back on the IR for the end of and basically end of season. And Matt is suggesting it might be wiser to wait to see if there are any more injuries at wide receiver and then open his practice window at that point, which makes sense, and that's strategic, and that's probably what they'll do. I mean, we haven't even discussed the possibility. Cowing and Watkins are their two fastest receivers. They both were very productive receivers in college. What if one of these guys actually got on the field and produced? I mean, it would really change the whole dynamic surrounding their wide receiver core. By the way, the Niners open as a 12.5-point favorite against the Titans in Week 15, according to the odds makers. Looking at the Niners' offensive line and their sacks and pressures allowed so far this year, it's pretty interesting. Trent Williams has given up 4 sacks and 32 pressures. Colton McKivitz has given up 3 sacks and 25 pressures. Dom Pooney, 1 sack and 23 pressures. Jake Brendel, no sacks and 19 pressures. So Brendel's got the best numbers there. Burford, who's played very little, 1 sack and 10 pressures. Connor Colby, 3 sacks and 20 pressures. Ben Barch, no sacks and 4 pressures. Those are good numbers in a limited time. And then Matt Hennessy, 0 sacks and 4 pressures. So interesting to look at those numbers. Of course, your tackles are going to give up the most of the sacks, and the Niners tackles have given up 7 sacks combined. One great note that we're really happy to report today is that Roger Craig, former Niner running back, fullback, named one of the 3 senior finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. It's Roger Craig, I think Ken Anderson, and L.C. Greenwood. And I got to say that, you know what, Roger Craig belongs in the Hall of Fame over L.C. Greenwood and Ken Anderson. There's no question in my mind. And, it's interesting. The 49ers, you think of the Steelers as the team of the 70s. The 49ers were the team of the 80s. Listen to what the Steelers have in the Hall of Fame. Okay, here are their Hall of Famers. They won 4 Super Bowl titles in the 1970s. And their Hall of Famers are Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, John Stallworth, Lynn Swann, Mike Webster, Joe Green, Mel Blount, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Donnie Shell, also Art Rooney, Dan Rooney, Chuck Knoll, and their super scout Bill Nunn are all in the Hall of Fame. All in the Hall of Fame. It's a lot. That's what, 11, 12, that's 14 Hall of Famers from their team of the 70s. What do the Niners have? The Niners won 4 Super Bowl titles in the 80s and have won 5 in their dynasty run in the 80s and early 90s. They have Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, Ronnie Lott, Fred Dean, Charles Haley, and Steve Young, Eddie D, and Bill Walsh. So what, that's 6, 7, 8. Niners have 8, and the Steelers have 14. 14. I think it's safe to say that maybe, the fact that Canton, Ohio is closer to Pittsburgh maybe has something to do with it. Maybe it's just the Steelers of the 70s had some uniquely great players, but come on, man. Roger Craig belongs in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest players in the Niner dynasty run. He absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame. I mean, if Andre Reed is in the Hall of Fame, Roger Craig needs to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, it's really as simple as that. But congratulations to Roger. He's got a great chance to get in, and I will not rest until Roger Craig is a Hall of Famer. Couple other notes. one of the things that has made the Niners really good this year is they're really good in the red zone. Last year, they struggled in the red zone. Offensively this year, their red zone conversion rate since week 6 is 75.9%. That's second in the NFL to the Falcons. So Niners have been absolutely money in the red zone over the last couple of months. Steve Young went on KMBR, and he says that he thinks, Brandon Aiyuk may have played his last snap with the Niners. And he says he feels like it's up to Brandon. He says he feels like he's decided that it's broken and that he's moved on. He says, I might be wrong, that it's Brandon's choice. But I got to believe that with his talent and what he gave particularly to Brock, Brandon was that guy that was open quickly, deep, out on the fringes where things could really cause defenses grief. And it's a huge loss, and it's terrible that this has happened the way it has. So basically, he says that he thinks Aiyuk has soured on the Niners more than the Niners have soured on Aiyuk. And for that reason, he may have played his last snap with the Niners. And I think Steve's probably right. I mean, I don't have any sources, but there's a lot of indications that Aiyuk is soured on the Niners. I think that's pretty clear at this point. By the way, this weekend, the 49ers could move up to the number 2 seed in the NFC without playing. And they'll move to the 6th seed no matter what. So the Niners right now are the 7th seed. They're the last seed in the playoffs. But if the Rams and Seahawks both lose, the Niners are the 2 seed. If one of LA or Seattle lose, the Niners are the 5 seed. Even if LA and Seattle both win, the Niners move up to the 6th seed. So if the Rams and Seahawks both lose, the Niners can move up to number 2. Wouldn't that be something? Is Kyle Shanahan going to be the coach of the year? Well, he deserves it, but there's no chance he's going to get it. The NFL Coach of the Year odds were out today. Josh DeBow from the AP put them out. I saw them. Mike Vrabel, minus 235. He's the favorite to win the Coach of the Year. Ben Johnson's plus 250. Mike McDonald of Seattle's plus 650. Brian Schottenheimer of the Cowboys. The Cowboys aren't even going to the playoffs right now. He's plus 1,800. Liam Cohen of the Jaguars, plus 2,500. Dave Canales of the Panthers, plus 2,500. Shane Steichen of the Colts, plus 2,500. Kyle Shanahan tied with Sean McVay at plus 3,000. 30-1 on Shanahan to win Coach of the Year. I mean, there's just almost nothing he can do. He's too highly thought of. His cast of characters is too highly thought of. The talent is too highly thought of. The Niners are they're too much of a favorite, with too big of a fan base and too much of a following to ever have their coach be the Coach of the Year, it seems. Kind of an interesting stat I saw today. NFL quarterback EPA per play by quarter. Brock Purdy ranks number 1 in the first quarter and number 6th overall in the fourth quarter. EPA by quarter. I thought that was kind of interesting. And Sam Darnold is below average in the second half, below the league average. So, I mean, it kind of speaks to Sam Darnold's struggles and under pressure. As far as the 49ers on defense, one of the things they're doing really well is they're really limiting opponents' explosives. They're not giving away explosive plays, chunk plays. The Niners own the league's 4th best defense at limiting explosive plays, run or pass. So that's kind of interesting. By the way, how wide open is the NFC? The Niners are the 7 seed, and the Bears are the 1 seed. Or the Bears and the Niners both have 9 wins. I mean, the thing is absolutely wide open. Super wide open. NFC this year for sure. So that's it. That's going to do it for us. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Plank Oakland for sponsoring this video. And thanks to you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.